الجزائر تضعكم في الصورة وترسم لكم الطريق عبر محللين مختصين ومراسليها في العالم. إذاعة الجزائر الدولية، صوتنا في العالم.
العالم يتغير وبسرعة، ونحن نتابع وبدقة نحاول الوصول إلى الحقيقة من مصدرها مباشرة. إذاعة الجزائر الدولية، صوتنا في العالم.
With Radio Algeria International, you will not miss a single major political or economic event. Radio Algeria International, our voice in the world.
This is the English service of Radio Algeria International. It's time for the news.
The Foreign Affairs Minister, Mr. Ahmed Hattaf, has said that the tragic situation in the Gaza Strip and the Palestinian cause remain Algeria's top priorities at the UN Security Council. The Palestinian Foreign Affairs Ministry has welcomed Jamaica's decision to officially recognize Palestine as a state. The Commissioner General for the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestinian Refugees in the Near East, UNRWA, Philip Lazzarini, has said that 160 of the agency's representation and buildings in the Gaza Strip have completely been destroyed. Those are the major developments. Now the full news edition. Good afternoon. The Army Chief of Staff General Said Chingriha has paid a working visit of inspection to the 3rd Military Region to monitor the combat readiness program. The visit started in the operational sector of South Tindus, where he addressed all executive and personnel of the region, where he said the following.
ومن أجل التكيف المستمر مع التطورات الحاصلة.
With a view to continuously adapting to the evolving situation in our regional and international environment and to effectively confront new threats, we have begun a global preparation which has included different institutions of the AMP with the mobilization of human and material resources so as to define the contours of the future development of the AMP Bottle Core. With the AMP, we have made these rational and thoughtful steps, a daily policy combining the acquisition of combat skills and high professionalism through continuous training and executing different types of exercises with faith in the national cause, loyalty to the Maltese oath, the imbuing of patriotic values and a sense of sacrifice for the defense of the country's vital interests.
عن كيانه ومصالحه الحيوية في كل الظروف والأحوال.
That was the Army General's Chief of Staff General Said Chingriha. The Speaker of the Council of the Nation, Salah Goudjil, has chaired a coordination meeting in Algiers ahead of the participation of a parliamentary delegation from the Council of the Nation in the activities of the Conference of the League of Parliamentarians of Four Al-Quds, scheduled from the 26th to the 28th of April in Istanbul, Turkey. The coordination meeting was an opportunity for Salah Goudjil to reaffirm Algeria's constant support for the Palestinian cause and its absolute support for the Palestinian people's right to resistance until the establishment of the independent state with occupied East Jerusalem as its capital. The chairman of the Council of the Nation stressed the importance of the role of the national parliamentary diplomacy to accompany official diplomacy under the aegis of the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, and his efforts to put an end to the genocidal policy and forced displacement imposed by the Zionist occupation on Gaza in battered Palestine. The Speaker of the Canadian House of Commons, Mr. Greg Fergus, at the head of a large delegation, is now on a 3-day visit to Algeria. A communiqué issued by the National People's Assembly said that the Canadian delegation was received by the Vice President of the National People's Assembly, Moundir Boudem, and the chairman of the Algeria-Canada Parliamentary Friendship Group, Mouloud Dahouch. It added that during the visit, the Canadian parliamentary delegation will meet with the speakers of the two chambers of parliament, Mr. Saleh Goujil and Mr. Brahim Boughali, as well as with a number of state officials. The Speaker of the National People's Assembly, APN, Brahim Boughali, has met in Muscat, Sultanate of Oman, the Omani ministers of Transport, Communication and Information Technology, Saeed bin Hamoud al-Mawali, Energy and Minerals, Salih bin Nasser al-Oufi. During the meeting with the Omani Minister of Transport, Communication and Information Technology, Brahim Boughali examined the state and prospect of cooperation in the transport, communication and digitization sectors in Algeria, underlining the commitment of the President of the Republic to their promotion and development. In this context, he called for more opportunities to exchange expertise and build on pioneering experiences through joint action programs. During his meeting with the Omani Minister of Energy and Minerals, Brahim Boughali emphasized the great potential of the two countries in the field of energy and minerals, which would enable us to broaden our relations of cooperation and partnership, particularly in view of their shared ambition to develop their respective economies and diversify their sources of wealth. And now the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the National Community Abroad, Ahmed Hattaf, has made a clarification as part of the overall improvement of the services provided by diplomatic and consular representations, notably regarding the repatriation of Algerians who have died abroad. The Foreign Affairs Ministry stressed that the cost of repatriating to Algeria of the remains of Algerians abroad will be covered by the Algerian government in line with the instructions of the President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelmajid Tebboune. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and the National Community Abroad, Ahmed Hattaf, has said in Algiers that the tragic situation in the Gaza Strip and the Palestinian cause remain Algeria's top priorities at the United Nations Security Council, where it will continue to work for an immediate and permanent ceasefire to facilitate humanitarian efforts without conditions or restriction and ensure the protection of Palestinian civilians. More details in this report by Majid Mila.
Ahmed Hattaf, who was receiving the President of the International Committee of the Red Cross, Marjana Spoljarik Eger, said that Algeria will always support the right of the Palestinian people to establish their sovereign and independent state.
And in the same vein, we continue to emphasize the compelling imperative of upholding the historic and unalienable right of the Palestinian people to statehood as the only way forwards towards achieving lasting peace and stability in the region.
Mr. Hattaf said that added that the International Committee of the Red Cross can count on Algeria's voice in the Security Council to defend its humanitarian mission, hailing the efforts of its teams in the Gaza Strip.
Looking ahead, I can assure you, Madam President, that the ICRC can fully count on the Algerian voice within the Security Council to speak up for its invaluable humanitarian mandate as a neutral, impartial, and independent life-saving organization. Let me also take this opportunity to tell you how much we appreciate the work of the ICRC teams based in Gaza. Those teams who continue to provide key healthcare and other vital services under horrific circumstances.
The minister also paid tribute to the efforts of these teams who continue to brave all risks and difficulties to save the lives of defenseless Palestinians, deploring the tragic loss of these courageous men and women who have paid a heavy price in trying to improve the situation in Gaza. The foreign minister also said that his talks with Ms. Eger had enabled him to review the solid and privileged relations between Algeria and the ICRC. These relations, he said, are based on Algerians' constant commitment to international humanitarian law and draw their strength from the fundamental values of mutual trust, support and understanding to which Algeria and the ICRC are so attached.
I look personally forward to deepening the fruitful and very useful consultations we had started 3 months ago in New York about this issue, as well as about other crisis situations in our neighborhood and far beyond. In all these troubled environments, the ICRC has truly proven itself as a force of good, a beacon of hope, and as a key partners towards peace and stability.
The minister also reiterated Algeria's gratitude to the ICRC, which has handed over the archives relating to its humanitarian activities and actions in the country during the independence struggle.
Algeria, Tunisia and Libya today signed here in Algiers an agreement on the setting up of consultative mechanism on the management of their shared groundwater, including in the Northern Sahara. The agreement was signed by the Algerian Minister of Water Resources Tahar Derbel, the Tunisian Minister of Agriculture and Water Resources Abdelmounem Belati, and the Libyan Deputy Minister for Water Resources Mohamed Faraj Qounidi. The leaders of the 3 countries, President Abdelmajid Tebboune, Qais Said and Mohamed Younes El Menfi, agreed during the first consultative meeting held on Monday in Tunis to activate as soon as possible joint mechanisms for the exploitation of shared groundwater in the Northern Sahara and to accelerate the implementation of the electricity interconnection project between the 3 countries. And now the Sahrawi prisoner from the Gdeim Easy group, El Hussein Boujam Azawi, has been on a hunger strike for 48 hours since Tuesday in protest at the violation of his fundamental rights, including the right to education and the right to be transferred near his family in Western Sahara, says the League for the Protection of Sahrawi Prisoners in Moroccan jails. According to the League, El Hussein Boujam Azawi, detained in the prison of Kenitra in Morocco, has been banned by the prison administration from enrolling in the Faculty of Islamic Sciences, a right guaranteed by the United Nations charters. And now a number of Palestinian civilians were today killed and others sustained various injuries in the ongoing Israeli occupation aggression against the besieged Gaza Strip, which has entered its 201st day. Wafa correspondent reported that 3 citizens were killed and others were injured as the Israeli occupation bombed the group of citizens near Abu Araben School and Nusayrat camp in the central Gaza Strip. Said Boughazi has more.
The Zionist occupation aircraft launched a series of raids northwest of the new camp, north of Nusayrat camp, coinciding with artillery shelling in the vicinity of the place. Injuries were recorded among citizens as a result of the occupation's artillery shelling on various areas of the neighborhoods of Gaza City and the northern Gaza Strip, where the sounds of huge and continuous explosions were heard as smoke rose in the neighborhoods of Az-Zaytun, Al-Shuja'iyya, Al-Tufah, Al-Daraj, Tel Al-Hawa and Al-Rimal in Gaza City. In the northern Gaza Strip, a number of citizens were injured in continuous artillery shelling on the towns of Beit Lahia, Beit Hanun and east of Jabalia. An airstrike from an occupation warplane targeted agricultural land in the Az-Zuwayda area in central Gaza, wounding 2 citizens. The occupation artillery also bombed east of El Burej refugee camp in the central Gaza Strip. The occupation drones flew at low altitude in the airspace of the western area of Gaza City. In the south of the Gaza Strip, occupation vehicles stationed near the eastern border of the city of Khan Yunis fired dozens of shells towards the areas of Abasan, Khuza'a and Az-Zina.
The Palestinian Ministry of Foreign Affairs today welcomed Jamaica's decision to officially recognize Palestine as a state. With this move, Jamaica joined 140 other member states of the United Nations in advocating for a two-state solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The ministry hailed Jamaica's decision to join the international movement that calls for the effective implementation of the two-state solution and respect for the right of the Palestinian people to live freely and in dignity in their independent state. And now the Republic of South Africa called on the international community to urgently lead a thorough and impartial investigation into the recent discovery of mass graves in different areas across the Gaza Strip. The Department of International Relations and Cooperation in South Africa reacted to the recent discovery of mass graves in Sad Nasser and El Shifa hospitals following the complete withdrawal of the occupation army. The United Nations World Food Programme, WFP, has declared that 200 days after the Zionist genocidal aggression on Gaza, half of the population is suffering from hunger. The UN agency explained in a press release that it is working to restore the food system in Gaza. The WFP emphasized that its aid was just a drop in the ocean of need and that a ceasefire is necessary in the enclave. The Commissioner General for UNRWA, Philippe Lazzarini, has said that 160 of the agency representations and buildings in the Gaza Strip have been completely destroyed. Speaking at a press conference at the Geneva headquarters of the organization, he called on the Security Council to conduct an independent investigation and to assure that the Zionist genocidists, who have shown a blatant disregard for the sanctity of the United Nations buildings, personnel and their operations in the Gaza Strip, be held accountable for this destruction. Here in Algiers, the Federation Office met at the headquarters of the Algerian Football Federation under the presidency of the President of the Algerian Football Federation, Walid Sadi. At the beginning of the meeting, the Federal Office noted with great regret the situation regarding the match posing the USM Algiers and RS Berkane scheduled on April 21st at Algiers as part of the African Confederation Cup semi-final first leg tie, which failed to take place. The Algerian national under-17 handball team refused to play the Moroccan team during the second day of the 6th edition of the Arab Championship being held in Morocco. The team refused to play the match as their Moroccan counterpart jerseys included an expanded map of their country, including the Sahrawi territories. That's it. We have a news bulletin. I invite you now to listen to a special program on William Shakespeare by myself.